Baylor star point guard and NCAA national champion Davion Mitchell was a force to be reckoned with during the 2020-2021 college basketball season. 6'2" with a 6'5" wingspan, Mitchell spent the season terrorizing opposing guards and wings with his elite blend of strength, speed, and competitiveness. Mitchell is one of the best perimeter defenders the draft has seen in years, but on the other side of the ball, Davion showed off an improved shooting stroke and a more nuanced floor game that has resulted in the steady climb of Mitchell's draft stock, which has taken him from a late first-round prospect to a potential top 10 pick. Welcome to Film Sesh, an NBA draft deep dive by Tulaba, highlighting how a prospect might make an impact when they step onto an NBA floor. I don't often start a prospect's film sesh with defense, but Davion Mitchell is a special perimeter defender. He may not fit the mold of that 6'8" with a 7-foot wingspan modern NBA lockdown wing defender, but Davion has special defensive tools that are a lock to translate even at his height. Mitchell takes pride in locking up and gets deep into his stance with his arms wide, just suffocating your space. His elite lateral movement and anticipation allow him to get right up in your shit and force you into difficult, highly contested shots. There are few prospects in any given draft that can consistently beat you to the spot, but Mitchell is doing it game in and game out, constantly forcing the ball handler to change directions and retreat. Mitchell's lateral quickness is so impressive that he routinely beat his man to the spot and drew charges out on the perimeter. Mitchell's just always in your business, like a gnat, just constantly pestering you. And while he's crowding your space and beating you to the spot, he's keeping his hands active, forcing strips, and tipping balls leading to turnovers. Even when the offensive player does score, Mitchell is doing his damnedest to make the shooter take difficult shots. And despite Mitchell's lack of height, he displayed the versatility to guard both elite guards like Jalen Suggs and big wings like Cade Cunningham. Even with a guy like Cade, who has such a huge height advantage at 6'8", Mitchell managed to allow nothing easy and brought all of those intangibles to the matchup that make him such a great point of attack defender. I mean, just look at how focused Mitchell is guarding Cade on this possession. Davion is deep in his stance, sliding with him stride for stride, forcing him away from the middle. He's crowding Cade's space and keeps his hands active, forcing the strip that turns into two the other way. The dude's motor just doesn't stop. Not much of a different story here. Mitchell is just hounding Cade. He's beating him over and through screens, pushing him sideline into the help, and beating him to the baseline, staying in deny, making Cade work to get the rock back once he gives it up. Just doing his job to make sure someone other than Cade is beating them. And yes, Cade was able to win certain matchups based on his size advantage, but it sure as hell wasn't easy. The dude took the matchup personally, and ultimately, that's what defending one-on-one is all about. Giving a shit, and Mitchell gives a shit. A lot of guys have great physical tools, but defense is all heart. And when you have both, you get a guy like Davion Mitchell. That becomes no more apparent than Mitchell's effort as a transition defender. Davion is the fastest player in this draft, and dude goes from 0 to 60 in no time at all. Just turns on the jets here and gets up for the chase down block. And look at the hustle here, diving on the floor for the loose ball, and then having the awareness to quickly get up and get to the basket in time for the chase down. It isn't often that guys are intimidated by a 6'2" guard coming from behind. But it isn't just the chase down ability, it's also the ability to backtrack and make quick decisions, to stay focused, disciplined, and active. That discipline, focus, and IQ are all of the qualities you need when you're playing team defense. Davion Mitchell is one of the most confident help defenders I've scouted, and it shows in his execution. Watch here as Davion switches seamlessly, pushes Cunningham away from the middle into the help, forcing a tough pass, and then confidently relocates to the paint off ball to perfectly meet the guard penetrating right into the exact spot he's occupying. Another beauty versus Oklahoma State here, as Davion keeps his head on a swivel so that he could see his man in the ball, slides in front of the big to take away a drop-off or to box him out, and then quickly recovers out to the shooter on the skip. Now watch Davion read this possession versus Houston. Mitchell starts out on Grimes and pushes Joe Dirt into the switch, starts shifting into the paint as the ball swings, and then perfectly splits the difference between the big and the short corner, perfectly timing the interception and starting the break. Another monster possession here versus the Cougars. Gets to the paint to tag the roll and prevent the drive, quickly reads the pass back out to the corner, stops on a dime on the closeout, and gets a perfect contest on the jump shot. Watch Davion Mitchell guard and you'll see shades of Drew Holiday, one of the most respected defenders in the league. There's no doubt that the kid has all NBA defensive team potential, but what has catapulted Davion up draft boards isn't just his defense, it's his two-way ability, and Davion Mitchell showed all of the improvements that scouts wanted to see heading into the college season. There was no improvement more important than his jump shooting. Davion was a poor jump shooter in his previous two college seasons, but he made a leap this season, going from 32% to 45% from deep on nearly 5 attempts a game, accounting for almost half of his total shot attempts. Playing with and off of another NBA prospect like Jared Butler allowed Davion to thrive off ball in catch and shoot situations, where his steady footwork and shot prep reminds people of another Mitchell. Add that to the last name and the number, and you immediately understand why Utah's Donovan Mitchell has been his most popular player comp. But watch Davion shoot, and you'll also see some Kemba Walker, especially in his pull-up game. Mitchell's ability to hit the defender with a devastating combo move to create space and then immediately stop on a dime and let it fly is one of the most important skills NBA teams look for in an isolation scoring guard. A skill in which Mitchell showed off over and over during Baylor's championship run. Mitchell's ability to pull up from deep or get to a spot in the mid-range makes him a potential 3-level scorer at the next level, and these mid-range pull-ups are where you really start to feel some of those UConn Kemba vibes. But what makes Mitchell's pull-up ability all the more catastrophic is that defenders have to play off of him a bit because of his elite half-court burst. Some scouts question if Mitchell's shooting is real due to the rapid improvement from last year to this year, as well as his 65% mark from the free throw line. But watch Mitchell get to these shots, and you'll see a smooth jumper that teams will respect enough to close out on. And when they do, see at the rim. Mitchell's speed is elite, even at the NBA level. And despite Mitchell's older age for an NBA prospect, he has elite NBA tools that some of the younger prospects just simply won't ever be able to develop. When Davion hits you with the little hang dribble hezzy, he's setting you up for failure. Drop back and it's a jumper in your eye, but try to crowd his space and it's a blow-by. What I love most about Mitchell's speed is that he has learned how to hone it in and not just go 100 miles per hour every possession. Davion is patient with the ball in his hands, and he plays with change of speeds and start-stops to toy with the defense. Davion finished 63% of his close twos for the Bears this season, and that unique blend of speed, strength, pace, and touch should roll over to his NBA career. But Davion's still a 6'2" below the rim finisher, and he's going to have to adjust to the Embiid and ADs of the world. There are two remedies to deal with this problem at the next level. The first is developing a consistent floater, which Davion showed flashes of this season. Watch how Davion shows off the change of pace and gets into the body of the defender to create space and drops them in. This has become a go-to in-between shot for other small guards like Tony Parker and Trae Young. The other thing that I'd like to see more of from Davion, given his athletic gifts, is using those gifts to draw more contact and generate a higher rate of free throw attempts. We've detailed why it's so hard to stay in front of Mitchell, and so he should really get to the line a bit more. This is where the Kemba comp falls a little bit short. Kemba was getting to the free throw line nearly 8 times a game his junior year. Now that's an elite number that Kemba was unable to replicate in the NBA, but given the extra space in the NBA game, it's something I'd like to see Davion improve upon. But Mitchell's ability to get into the paint didn't just open up his own scoring opportunities. The defense's inability to stop Davion's dribble penetration led to an improved year as a playmaker as well, as he consistently beat the defense to their spot, forcing the help to overcommit, leading to open shots. Mitchell's ability to dictate the pace and the attention that he earned constantly tricked defenses to overfocus on his self-creation abilities, which allowed cutters, shooters, and lob targets to get easy shot opportunities. And Davion showed off a nuanced ability to manipulate ball screens, showing off a patience and calmness when teams threw blitzes and hard hedges his way, managing to perfectly time passes to bigs popping or rolling hard to the rim. Davion's maturity really showed in recognizing the weak side shooter. Watch here as he beats his man one-on-one and leaves his feet to manipulate the big to jump, and tricking the weak side help defender into forgetting about his responsibility in the corner. So often, he'd create easy opportunities for his bigs on drop-offs or lobs that would be fumbled, but those passes will almost certainly be converted by NBA talent. Davion's improved shooting ability on catch-and-shoot jumpers forced defenders to close out and recover hard, drawing defenses out of position when he attacked, and when Davion had an opportunity to get out and run, he's able to use his ability as a transition scorer to open up opportunities as a transition playmaker. NBA teams that want to play fast will love Davion's ability to grab and go or serve as an outlet to get out and boost the pace of the offense like few athletes can, regardless of level of play. Mitchell's trajectory as an upperclassman skyrocketing towards the top 10 is rare nowadays. Most older prospects get overlooked for younger prospects with more impressive physical tools, but there aren't many prospects in this class outside the top 5 that match up with Davion's physical tools. Combine those elite traits with his work ethic to improve, his fiery competitiveness, and a game tailor-made for the modern NBA, and you're looking at star-level upside.